Hello guys, I hope we're doing good. Now, today's episode, I'm very excited, and it's been a very long time. I think I've been thinking about doing an episode like this, and it's just how dyslexia and mental health, and how does dyslexia affect your mental health, and I'll be going into it. And to be honest, I've been sort of thinking about sharing some struggles that I'm dealing with right now, and it can be somehow related, it can be very strongly correlated, related to kind of the dyslexia and the struggles I have with that. So I'm very excited to kind of get into that and kind of just explore this topic with you. And also, if you're someone I'm so excited about, please sign up. If you're struggling with reading, if you have a child struggling with reading, I transformed my reading a couple of years ago, I think a year ago, for this one method that basically I had all the special education, all the one-to-ones, and I've worked on it tremendously myself, and yet it was still at a very limited capacity. And after this simple little method, simple little technique, took me 2.5 hours, everything transformed. So please, all I want to talk to you about the things that I've learned. I want to share them with you and help you in any way I can. So please schedule a call for that. And I hope we look forward to today's episode and gain something from it.
So the big question is this: how can dyslexics like us create a place, a community, a tribe where people at any stage of life can come and solve any challenge, amplify their strengths, and ultimately help them become who they were meant to be? Or in other words, conquer their dyslexia? That is the question, and this show is the answer. My name's Theo Goff, and welcome to the Conquering Dyslexia podcast.
So guys, dyslexia and mental health. Does dyslexia strongly affect mental health? Now, I have been struggling really recently with my mental health, and it's sort of like I've said to myself over again that I think it'd be helpful speaking about this, because I think so many of us dyslexics can find ourselves in a very similar position where I am in. And it's really it can really stem from a big thing that's saying how a lot of dyslexics, they can believe that they're never enough. And this is very common, and it makes so much sense, because growing up, we're never told we're enough, we're never shown we're enough. We're always shown to try to do a bit better, or to catch up with everyone, and to carry on working, carry on doing it, and you're not as good as everyone else. We're sort of showing that subconsciously, even though we're supporting parents, supporting people around us. We still see through school that other people are still learning more and learning better than us. And we're like, we need to get to that level. And we're continually wanting, and then we sort of don't rest nearly as much as everyone. And the only way we can realise to get ahead in some way is by working 10 times harder than everyone else, and not taking breaks, and keep on going. And that's the only way we can compete. And we learn that when we're basically in school, because we're competing in the same game. The game that we're definitely not adapted to compared to the other competitors, if you want to think of it like that. And because we think of that, we always think we have to work really hard. We always want to improve ourselves. We always want to get better at things. I know for myself, if you like, I said my story loads of times, but if you heard my story, basically, I was in a dyslexic school from year 3 to year 11, 8 years of my life, very small school. I was basically like a normal kid with dyslexia, and then I moved to a sixth form. Over 1,000 kids in the whole school. I was lost, and it really showed to like how all my difficulties, because I didn't know how to socialise properly, and I couldn't fit in. And because I was the people there I was going with, like a boxing, mine was like a little boxing unit, boxing academy inside this big sixth form. That's how I could go into sixth form, because I had a couple of years experience of boxing. And because like all the other boxers there, like, it was very hard to fit in there. It was very hard for me to sort of make friends and to feel happy and have no experiences And because of that, my biggest drive was to make friends. My biggest drive was to meet people and have new experiences, do the things you want to do when you're a 16, 17-year-old kid. And so I was really downstage, and something I heard, which you know what I mean, it's so true to this day, and I tell everyone to do it. Something I heard changed my life. It is this. This from Tony Robbins. I was watching a video one night, and it's changed my life forever. He said the only way to change your life is to take responsibility of your life. And from that point, I got obsessed on improving myself, and I kept learned all this stuff about how life works, and how thinking and operating, and how different things work. And it's like a lot of it is down to standard. You have to raise your standard. You have to work harder. You have to, have reasons for something. You have to change your mindset and all this other stuff. And I've really delved deep, and that changed my life forever. And my life would never be the same if I did not experience that one thing and delve in deep into me improving myself. And this all led me down to sort of like always wanting to do the best I can with everything. Always want to do the best I can. And that has set me on a cycle really for a couple of years actually, of me doing the things I'd said I'd do, because I'd do things, okay, I'll like a plan a day. Like I'd get up at 5 or 4 a.m. or sometimes 3 a.m. and I'd go and work out and do this, and then do this, then do this, then do this, then do this, then do this. And then like when I would do those things, if I do it for like a day, good, great. If I do it for 3 days, really good. And then sometimes I'd fall off because I'm tired, because of this, because of that. And then I would really beat myself up and really like stress about myself. And say, come on, Theo, I need to do this, you need to do this. And I'd send myself in these downward spirals of not feeling good enough. Even though it's ridiculous not to feel good enough. Because the fact is, I am. You know what I mean? The fact is, I am good enough. And I remember one time, I was in this event, I can't remember what's it called, it's like another development event, it's like on the second program, paid quite a bit of money for it, like 3-4 days, or second whole program of it. One program 3-4 days, second program another 3-4 days. And we did this exercise, I can't remember, basically it's like where you feel loads of pain, and you break through a wall barrier, then you look back and you see something, and you see what kind of like what's stopping you. You realise you broke through it. And what I saw that was stopping me was this thing saying, you're not enough. I remember it, and I was just getting so emotional when I saw that, and I was just crying. I was like, no, I am enough, I am enough. And it feels weird, like when you say it to yourself, I am enough. You get this weird feeling. And one of the biggest reasons why you get that weird feeling, because you don't quite believe it. Even though you know you are enough, you know it's good to believe that. Some part of you think, oh no, but if you think you're enough, you can't work hard. If you think you're enough, you can't go to the next level, can't do the next thing. And really, and I sort of realised that, oh my God, and I sort of made a thing to say to myself, okay, I am enough, I am enough. But yet, that hasn't stopped you. My sort of like desire and obsession to improve myself, and this to help you guys hasn't gone away. But nor has it gone away about my sort of like thing about beating myself up for not taking action, for not doing things I said I would do. And I remember back, because I'm currently in Thailand now, I remember back in the UK, I was living by myself, and it kind of got to a point where it was like very bad. I really beat myself up, and it was this downward spiral because I didn't take action. I beat myself up. And I beat myself up because I'm beating myself up, and I just couldn't get out of bed at that point. And like, to be honest now, like, there's so much in me that just wants to go out there and have a routine and help you guys and doing all this stuff. But the situation I'm in now, thank God, I'm ending soon, but it's very not optimal, because basically there's this, everywhere's like kind of in, all the kids aren't going to school, but I have to be in school from like 8 to 4 p.m. I don't have anything to do in school. No one in school speaks any sort of English. I don't speak very good Thai. And nothing bad about anything here, it's just about the situation is just so bad for me. And that can beat myself up massively. And I sort of go through little episodes like that. And one thing I've learned, because I remember back in the past when I went for a whole, went for a whole kind of episode, a big one, and I sort of learned, I was like, this is scary, I can't keep doing this. And the biggest thing I've learned is from that, and I've sort of retaught it to myself because I fell in the trap again, is to don't be hard on myself. And this is advice I think you can take. Don't be hard on yourself. Yes, you want to improve. Yes, you got this that you need to improve or need to do well and to help people and to provide and to learn and do of your life, because it all matters. Every day, every hour does matter, and you matter, and you want to create the best out of your life. Like you want to conquer dyslexia, take the best out of your life. That matters. But you have to do it as most efficient way possible. And if you have, that's the way I think of it, okay, but if I'm beating myself up and not taking action and feel like rubbish, then that's not effective, that's not good, that's not smart. So I have to take things from a more smarter way, which is, and this is, just be kind to yourself. Treat every single day as a learning curve. Every day is a learning curve. And one thing that I sort of like, I know that I have to do religiously, and I haven't been doing them because I set myself on too high a standard. These things are the most important, is doing my morning routine and my evening routine before I go to bed. Set me up for the day. Set me up for the day. I know for myself, those are things I have to do, but because I used to set my standard so high, I used to do those things and 20 other things. If I don't do all of them, I would call myself a failure, which is ridiculous. And I think some people need to take that advice. I think it's really useful. Like, don't beat ourselves up for anything. Don't beat yourself up for anything. Always look to a way that how you can improve it. The past is the past. Because you've failed so much in the past, because things haven't gone right, because maybe you've been lazy, you haven't taken action. Maybe because people treated you really horribly in the past. This happened, that happened in the past. It's the past. Leave it there. How do you want to act in the future, regardless of how people treated you in the past, regardless of what happened to you in the past? How do you, it's all about how do you want to act in the future? How do you want to act now in the present? And don't let the past define you. If I always let the past define me, all my little failures, all this or that, I feel like I'm the most laziest, rubbish person in the world. But I've got to define myself about who I want to be, not about who I am. And I've got a very, very, very strong feeling that I'm not alone in this kind of in this dyslexia community. This desire to improve myself, and this desire to kind of like get better and understand my dyslexia more. Because dyslexia is incredible. But one product that it does leave behind is people that don't think they're good enough and continually working to meet the standard that they will never be able to meet. And I'm a product of that. I have that. And it's about working towards it. And you could 100% cause it mental health. And by the way, guys, dyslexia affects mental health in so many ways. This is one way that people don't see. This is one way that people don't see, because like if you look on the outside, oh, look at this person, he's doing all right. But on the inside, no. But before, my dyslexia was affecting my mental health because I couldn't speak to people. I had severe social anxiety. I had severe fear about getting a job in the future. The only thing I could do was a bricklayer, I think. That's what I believed, and it affected my mental health in so many ways. And when I was even younger, I had problems sleeping. I had stomach cramps. I wouldn't speak to anyone all day. My head would be down. So dyslexia does affect your mental health in all stages in life, in all stages. But if you listen to this now, and if you have took responsibility, obviously if you're young, it's hard to take full responsibility, like you can when you're older because you're more consciously aware. But if you listen to this, be nice to yourself. When you're, because like when you have social anxiety, when you don't think you can get a job, you don't think you do this, you blame yourself. You always blame yourself. And taking responsibility, it's not about blaming yourself and putting yourself down and saying, why are you so useless? Taking actual responsibility is realizing, okay, this is the past. I want to get to where I want to get to, and what are the things I can do that? And use everything, not as a failure, but as a learning curve. And don't have a negative association towards the failures that you make. Okay, this is a learning curve. Let's try not to do that in the future. Yes, I know it's hard. Yes, I appreciate that. But let's make each and every day count. And my happiness, I value more than anything. My happiness in this, I value more than, you know what I mean, than beating myself up because I'm not good enough, beating myself up because I don't get this qualification, I don't get this, you know what I mean, this grade, I don't be able to pass this thing or get this job. Your happiness, your sense of self is what's most important. But you have to get out there and try each and every day. But try in a sense of optimism, try in a sense of curiousness. Because be curious about the results you get. Be fascinated when you fail. Don't be like, oh, I'm not good enough, I need to work hard. Be fascinated. And look at yourself, I was going to say introspectively, but look at yourself kind of, not person that you judge yourself, like you beat yourself up. Because, oh, this is interesting. X, Y, and Z made this result. And just always analyze and look from it. And then you'll be down one time. Not get up and not take action. And you beat yourself up because you're not getting up. I do that all the time. But then the next time you get up and you move forward. You recover and you move forward. And you're trying to learn not to get down in the past. Like learn why you were down that time and try not to get down in the future. Just keep on learning, keep on adapting. That's it. I mean, there's so much I want to say on this. I mean, I really hope there is, and I sort of think learning how your mental health is, because it's very hard to call these things mental health because we always have excuses, we always have ideas about why this is happening, why are we feeling like this. But ultimately, if your mind isn't optimal, if you're not happy, if you're not, active, and you're just you're in a stupor, you're always negative, that's negative mental health. I always think of mental health and physical health are the same thing. I can either be healthy, unhealthy, or it's always like a spectrum. Where's your spectrum of mental health? And physical health and mental health are linked. But where's your spectrum of mental health? Is it good mental health or bad mental health? You mean if you're like neutral, which means you're just okay with yourself. But if you're unhappy at the moment, you've got bad mental health. At this moment, if you're unhappy all the time, you've got there's definitely severities with it. And obviously, there's nothing like to get diagnosed with yet or whatever. But think of it as it's all mental health. And don't think of, oh, I've got mental health issues. Like, oh, I'm like put yourself in that category. Just look, mental health is like my physical health. You work on your physical health, don't you, to improve it. You eat right, you exercise. For your mental health, you've got to do the same things. You've got to work on it to improve it. And that's where we can start to build a stronger self and start to really sort of cope with our dyslexia a lot more and understand it more. Because if you're fighting your mental health, it's so much more harder to get a grip and really understand your dyslexia. Anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. And like I said in the intro about how I'm improving the reading, or if you want to talk to me more about this mental health stuff, I'll be more than happy to chat to you about it. And something I really want to do about a few more podcasts on. I think there's a lot more way to dive deeper into this. Anyway, guys, I'll see you all again soon.